Thank God for a stovepipe when I'm cooking. Because if it wasn't for the stovepipe, my house would be filled with smoke. So is the stovepipe shotgun in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands just blowing smoke? Or is it gonna cause real damage? What's up YouTube? Zero here. And today I have a gun review of the stovepipe shotgun in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this video, I'll go through the overview of the stovepipe that you're seeing in this video. Then I'll get into some more gameplay and I'll talk about the benefits and drawbacks of utilizing the stovepipe. Then at the end of the video, I'll get into fate or hate. Is the stovepipe fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory? Or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands content. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. It does really help out me and my channel. Without further ado, let's get into the stovepipe. So this is a black powder shotgun, mine's volatile. This is the Voltaic Stovepipe of Steam. The damage is at 1730, accuracy is at 66, which is kind of odd, and I'll talk about that in a little. Handling's at 75%, reload time's at 1.2 seconds, the fire rate's at 1.86 per second, the magazine size is only at 2. Mine's enchanted. The Voltaic increases lightning damage by 50%, while action skill is active. Mine's plus 32% gun damage, plus 19% reload speed, a 2.2 multiplied zoom. Shoots a magical blast of energy that you were probably noticing in the early clip, and plus 120% gun critical hit chance. Of course, this is a black powder, aka a Jacobs from previous Borderlands games, so if you're not getting a one-shot kill, then you're not using a Jacobs. I'm very upset that they took away the Jacobs brand and made it black powder, but that's for another time. Now you can notice that the stovepipe doesn't fire one straight shot. Well, just one shot in general. It does fire a straight shot, but it is a magical horizontal line. So while I said the accuracy being at 66% was weird, it's because this fires a magical line. It makes it really easy to hit enemies. And because it fires that magical line, it makes it really easy to deal damage to groups of enemies. You're going to be able to hit multiple enemies very easily while you're utilizing the stovepipe. So when you're facing those hordes of enemies, this may be the shotgun for you. You don't have to worry too much about accuracy. You can just fire into a crowd. And what is even better is those annoying floating eyes. Yeah, it makes it really easy to hit those too, because you don't have to worry in particular about aiming. They're flying around, they can dodge, but because this fires in a horizontal line, it's fairly easy to hit them as well. There are other shotguns in the game where you have to be really precise, or really other guns in the game where you have to be really precise. Hitting those flying eyeballs can be a little tricky with certain guns. With the stovepipe, because of that horizontal line, it's not too bad. Now, even though this is a volatile gun, I'm playing on Chaos 25, because it has that horizontal line and is meant for dealing damage to groups of enemies, it's not great against a singular enemy. When you're facing a boss, this isn't going to deal as much damage as other shotguns that are focusing their damage. This is more geared towards dealing damage to groups of enemies. Now, the reload time is both unique because you're sprinkling salt on your gun, and very quick. You don't really notice the reload time. So really, even though you only have 2 rounds in your magazine, it's almost as though you don't have much of a reload. So that wasn't much of a worry. You could see on the screen after 2 shots, I'm very quickly throwing salt on my gun and I'm getting back into the fight. So that's something nice about the stovepipe as well, is the reload is very quick. So despite having a low magazine size, you could get back into the fight really quickly. So now that we've talked about the pluses and minuses of the stovepipe, let's get into fate or hate. Is the stovepipe fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Now, all shotguns in the game, yes, I am jaded, I compare to the Sword Explosion. The Sword Explosion is a Torg shotgun. It is legendary, and it can deal massive amounts of damage in a very short time. For those of you who have seen previous videos, you've probably seen me utilizing the Sword Explosion, and I can legit run through not just normal enemies, but bosses really quickly with the Sword Explosion. So I compare all shotguns in the game to the Sword Explosion. The Stovepipe is a good gun. It can deal damage to hordes of enemies fairly quickly, but being that its lack of firepower against bosses just doesn't do enough for me, especially on the higher chaos rounds. I'm actually gonna hate this gun. It's fun to use, it's fun to look at, and it can do okay against hordes of enemies, but when I'm facing singular enemies, it just doesn't kill quick enough. So I'm gonna hate the Stovepipe. I wanted to love it, but I just can't, especially compared to the Sword Explosion. So let me know in the comments section what you think of the Stovepipe. Have you utilized it, and do you enjoy it, or have you thrown it away like me? I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, peace.